You were not destroyed. You were selected. Life didn't corner you by accident. It stripped you in public. It let people see you lose. It let loyalty collapse at the exact moment you needed it most. And while you were trying to recover, something more dangerous happened. You adjusted downward. You made yourself smaller, just to survive the fallout. That is how kings disappear before they are ever crowned. But history does not reward the man who survives. It rewards the man who studies the moment that nearly erased him. And when a man stops asking why this happened to me and starts asking what advantage this gives me, he exits the victim category permanently. In this video, you will uncover 7 ruthless laws buried inside Machiavelli's hidden code, not to inspire you, but to rebuild you into something disciplined, calculated, and untouchable. If you're ready to stop surviving and start ruling, drop king below. Let's begin. Law 1. Why the man who blames nothing becomes dangerous. You were not destroyed, you were exposed. There is a difference. Life did not break you at random. It revealed something you did not want to see. A weakness, a miscalculation, a blind spot you were too proud to admit existed, and instead of studying it, you explained it away. You told yourself the betrayal was unfair. You told yourself the opportunity was stolen. You told yourself you were unlucky. But here is the pattern history keeps repeating. The men who rise after collapse are not the ones who blame the storm. They are the ones who analyze why their structure failed. Machiavelli did not write about power from comfort. He wrote after exile, after humiliation, after losing position, and he did not spend his energy accusing fate. He examined himself with surgical precision. Where had he misread ambition? Where had he trusted appearances? Where had he underestimated human nature? That is ruthless self-audit. And it is merciless, because it requires you to turn the blade inward before you ever draw it outward. Most men avoid this moment. Their ego protects them. Their pride constructs stories that make them victims instead of participants. It feels better to be wronged than to be responsible. But responsibility is leverage. The moment you eliminate blame, your thinking changes. You stop defending your past decisions and start dissecting them. You stop asking why this happened to you and start asking how you allowed the conditions for it to form. That shift alone alters your trajectory, because every defeat becomes intelligence, every humiliation becomes instruction, every betrayal becomes pattern recognition. Now escalation begins. You start seeing the role you played in every collapse, the signals you ignored, the need for approval that made you vulnerable, the emotional reactions that exposed you, the hesitation that cost you position. It is uncomfortable, it is brutal, but it is power. When you audit yourself without mercy, you close the gaps others exploit. You remove the weaknesses they count on. You stop being predictable. And unpredictability is dangerous. The strategic shift is simple but rare. After every loss, instead of defending yourself internally, you study yourself strategically. You look for leverage, not comfort. And over time, something changes in how you carry yourself. You no longer fear setbacks. You no longer react to pressure with emotion. You no longer need someone to be at fault. You become adaptive. The man who blames nothing cannot be controlled. He cannot be cornered. He cannot be manipulated through shame or pressure, because he has already confronted his own flaws before anyone else could weaponize them. That is when a broken man transforms, not when he heals, when he studies. Law 2. Emotional control is the first crown. Master your reactions or be ruled forever. You think your biggest enemies are outside you. They are not. The real threat is far closer. It is the part of you that reacts before it thinks. The part that flares up when disrespected. The part that tightens when challenged. The part that needs to answer immediately. That impulse has cost you more power than any rival ever has. Here is the brutal truth most men never accept. If someone can predict your reaction, they can control your behavior. And if they can control your behavior, they own you without ever touching you. Broken men believe anger proves strength. They believe intensity signals dominance. They believe emotional expression shows authenticity. It feels powerful in the moment. It feels justified. But it is a trap. Because the second you explode, you reveal your pressure points. And once your pressure points are visible, the game is over. Machiavelli understood this long before modern psychology put words to it. A ruler governed by emotion is not a ruler. He is a puppet waiting for someone clever enough to pull the string. The court does not fear the loud king. It studies him. It waits for the moment his temper overrides his judgment. Then it strikes. Most men lose wars they never realize they were fighting. A careless reaction in a room, a defensive tone in a negotiation, a jealous outburst in a relationship. Each one feels small. Each one quietly reshapes how others rank you. The dangerous man operates differently. He does not suppress emotion. He weaponizes distance from it. When anger rises, he observes it. When humiliation stings, he analyzes it. When provoked, he slows down instead of speeding up. That pause is the crown, because in that pause, he regains authorship. Control of reaction creates unpredictability. Unpredictability creates hesitation. Hesitation creates leverage. And leverage creates power. There is a difference between feeling nothing and being ruled by nothing. The first is weakness disguised as coldness. The second is mastery. The man who can experience the full surge of emotion without being dragged by it becomes impossible to manipulate. From this point forward, treat every reaction as a test, not of them, of you. Every time you choose composure over impulse, you add weight to your presence. Every time you refuse to detonate on command, you separate yourself from the emotionally average. A crown is not placed on your head by others. It is forged in the seconds where you refuse to be ruled by your own instability. Master that, and you stop being reactive. You start becoming sovereign. If this law exposed something in you, comment "Awakened" below and subscribe now, because the next move only gets colder. Law 3. Ruthless clarity. See people as they are, not as you wish them to be. You are not betrayed by enemies. You are betrayed by illusions. The real danger is not that people lie to you. It is that you lie to yourself about who they are. You ignore patterns because you prefer comfort. You reinterpret red flags as misunderstandings. You downgrade disrespect into bad days. And every time you do that, you weaken your position. Here is the threat most men refuse to confront. Hope distorts perception. You want loyalty, so you assume it. You want respect, so you project it. You want alignment, so you imagine it. But power does not operate on imagination. It operates on evidence. Machiavellian strategy begins with cold observation, not paranoia, not cynicism, precision. The ability to separate what someone says from what they consistently do. The ability to detect incentives beneath surface behavior. The discipline to track patterns instead of promises. Most broken men get broken twice by the same type of person. Not because fate is cruel, because they never adjusted their lens. When someone undermines you subtly, you call it personality. When someone withholds support strategically, you call it busyness. When someone competes with you while smiling, you call it ambition. Each rationalization keeps you blind, and blindness is expensive. Ruthless clarity requires ego removal. It demands that you accept this. People act primarily in their own interest, not in yours, not in fairness, in advantage. That is not evil. It is structural reality. Once you understand that, you stop being shocked. You start being prepared. The dangerous man studies micro-behavior. Who interrupts, who mirrors, who disappears when stakes rise, who leans in when you show weakness, who competes when you elevate. Data replaces emotion. This shift changes everything, because once you see clearly, manipulation loses oxygen. You stop over-investing in the wrong allies. You stop revealing strategy to unstable characters. You stop expecting depth from shallow minds. And most importantly, you stop personalizing predictable human behavior. Clarity creates calm. Calm creates control. And control creates dominance. There is no cruelty in seeing reality accurately. There is only protection. The man who insists on believing in the version of people he prefers will always be destabilized by the version that actually exists. The man who sees without distortion becomes difficult to surprise, and the man who is difficult to surprise becomes difficult to defeat. Law 4. Detachment from approval. The moment you stop needing, you start commanding. You are easier to control than you think, not because you lack strength, not because you lack intelligence, but because somewhere beneath your discipline, you still want to be liked, you still want to be understood, you still want acknowledgement from people who have not earned access to your inner world. And that need is visible. Here is the uncomfortable truth. The moment someone senses you need their approval, the power dynamic tilts. Subtly, quietly, permanently. You begin adjusting your tone, editing your opinions, softening your stance. You hesitate before disagreeing. You explain more than necessary. You smile to reduce tension. You over-clarify to avoid misinterpretation. None of this feels weak in the moment, but it broadcasts something dangerous: dependence. And dependence kills authority. Machiavellian power does not come from aggression. It comes from self-sufficiency, from the internal decision that praise will not inflate you and criticism will not define you. When your emotional state is no longer outsourced to the reactions of others, something shifts in the room. You become still. You stop chasing validation through performance. You stop oversharing to earn connection. You stop seeking agreement to feel secure. Most men are socially reactive. They read faces and adjust themselves in real time. Approval goes up, confidence rises, disapproval appears, posture shrinks. They are thermometers, constantly measuring external temperature. The commanding man is different. He sets the temperature. Detachment does not mean coldness. It means sovereignty. It means your worth is pre-decided internally. It means you can enter a room and speak without scanning for applause. It means you can hold silence without anxiety. It means you can disagree without emotional tremor. And here is the psychological consequence most people never anticipate. When you stop needing approval, people start seeking yours. Because validation becomes scarce. Because your reactions become unpredictable. Because your composure signals that your center is internal, not negotiable. This creates gravity. You no longer orbit around the room's opinion. The room begins orbiting around your certainty. Detachment is not about pushing people away. It is about removing the invisible leash they never knew they were holding. When praise does not control you and rejection does not destabilize you, you become difficult to influence. And a man who cannot be influenced emotionally cannot be positioned socially. The second you stop needing, you stop negotiating your value. And that is the moment you start commanding it. Law 5. Strategic silence and invisible power. Why kings move without announcing war. You talk too much, not because you are foolish, because you want recognition. You want people to see your ambition forming. You want acknowledgement before the result exists. So you announce your plans. You explain your strategy. You reveal your direction. And in doing so, you weaken your position. Power that speaks early becomes power that can be prepared for. Most men feel strong when they declare what they are about to do. It creates momentum. It creates identity. It feels like action, but it is exposure disguised as progress. Machiavelli understood something ruthless about visibility. The most effective move is the one your opponent never sees assembling. The loud ruler is studied. The quiet ruler is underestimated. And underestimation is advantage. Strategic silence is not passivity. It is containment. When you reveal every intention, you give people time to interfere. You invite opinion. You invite doubt. You invite subtle resistance. Some will discourage you directly. Others will compete silently. A few will smile and begin positioning against you before you even begin. You will not see it happen, but it will happen. Invisible power works differently. You build quietly. You test without broadcasting. You gather leverage without signaling aggression. You allow others to assume you are stagnant while you are repositioning. This creates asymmetry. They think you are stable. You are advancing. They think you are neutral. You are calculating. They think you are behind. You are preparing. Silence also protects your psychology. When your goals are public too early, they become fragile. You feel pressure to perform before structure exists. You seek validation for unfinished work. And when doubt enters, it multiplies faster because others are watching. The dangerous man understands this and removes the audience. He speaks less. He observes more. He lets outcomes make the announcement. When he moves, it appears sudden to others. It was not sudden, it was silent. This is invisible power. It does not argue, it does not warn, it does not threaten. It positions. And positioning is superior to confrontation. Kings do not declare war every time they prepare. They consolidate resources. They map terrain. They wait until resistance becomes irrelevant. By the time action is visible, advantage is already secured. Strategic silence turns ambition into leverage. And leverage, revealed at the right moment, feels like dominance. That is why kings move quietly. Because surprise is a weapon. And the man who controls surprise controls the outcome. Law 6. Controlled cruelty, when mercy destroys you and consequence builds your throne. You think being the bigger man makes you strong. Sometimes it makes you disposable. There is a type of mercy that comes from wisdom, and there is a type that comes from fear of confrontation. Most men confuse the two. They tolerate disrespect because they want to appear calm. They forgive patterns because they want to appear mature. They delay consequences because they want to avoid conflict. And slowly, their authority erodes. Here is the threat. Unchecked mercy teaches people how to treat you. Machiavelli understood something that modern morality avoids saying directly. If consequences are inconsistent, disobedience becomes rational. If boundaries are not enforced decisively, they are not boundaries at all. Controlled cruelty is not emotional revenge. It is disciplined consequence. When someone crosses a line and nothing happens, you signal weakness. When someone undermines you and you rationalize it, you signal tolerance. When someone disrespects you publicly and you smooth it over privately, you signal hierarchy, and you are not at the top. Broken men overextend mercy because they fear being seen as harsh. They prioritize being liked over being respected. But respect does not grow from kindness alone. It grows from predictability of consequence. A ruler who forgives every insult eventually invites rebellion. This does not mean becoming impulsively aggressive. Emotional retaliation is sloppy. It exposes insecurity. Controlled cruelty is calculated. It is measured. It is proportionate. It sends a message without drama. Sometimes it is removal of access. Sometimes it is silent distance. Sometimes it is direct correction delivered once, clearly, without escalation. The key is consistency. When people understand that crossing you has a cost, behavior adjusts automatically. Not because they fear you irrationally, but because they respect structure. Mercy without structure breeds chaos. Structure with consequence breeds order. This is the escalation most men resist. They want harmony without enforcement. They want loyalty without boundaries. They want authority without discomfort. It does not work that way. When you begin enforcing limits calmly and without apology, something shifts in your environment. Tests decrease. Disrespect becomes rare. Conversations change tone. You stop negotiating your standards. Controlled cruelty is the refusal to let repeated violations slide under the excuse of patience. It is the decision that your position will not be eroded by hesitation. And when consequence becomes predictable, your presence becomes heavier, not louder, heavier, because people know where the line is, and they know you will not move it. Law 7. The final transformation, from victim of circumstance to architect of power. At some point, you decided the story was against you. Unfair timing, disloyal people, missed opportunities, bad luck. You collected evidence for why your position made sense. why your restraint was justified, why your hesitation was reasonable. And slowly, without noticing, you accepted a role. The role of the man reacting to life instead of designing it. Here is the brutal truth. Circumstances are real, but victim identity is a decision. Machiavellian power begins the moment you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "How do I use this?" That shift sounds simple. It is not. Because blaming circumstance protects the ego. It removes responsibility. It allows you to preserve self-image without upgrading self-structure. But the man who blames nothing becomes dangerous for one reason. He can no longer be controlled through excuse. When betrayal becomes data instead of trauma, you evolve. When failure becomes feedback instead of humiliation, you recalibrate. When rejection becomes filtration instead of collapse, you reposition. Most men remain stuck because they attach identity to damage. They introduce themselves through pain. They justify stagnation through history. They wear hardship as explanation instead of converting it into leverage. An architect does not complain about the terrain. He studies it. Then he builds accordingly. This is the escalation. If you are still emotionally negotiating with your past, you are not free. If your decisions are influenced by resentment, you are not sovereign. If your future is constrained by old narratives, you are still operating from injury. Transformation is not motivational. It is structural. You remove reactive habits. You redesign standards. You eliminate environments that reinforce weakness. You rebuild skill, discipline, positioning, deliberately. You stop hoping circumstances improve. You improve capacity. This is where power stabilizes. Because once you internalize full authorship, nothing external holds ultimate leverage over you. Not praise, not criticism, not advantage, not loss. Events still occur, pressure still exists, but interpretation becomes strategic, not emotional. That is the crown. The man who believes he is shaped by forces outside him will always negotiate with reality. The man who sees himself as architect adjusts the structure and moves forward. One waits for rescue, the other builds a kingdom. From this point forward, circumstances are material. You are the designer. This is not about motivation. This is not about feeling powerful for 10 minutes and going back to the same habits. This is about laws, cold ones, the kind that decide whether a man stays broken or becomes something people cannot control. Most men will hear this and go back to blaming, reacting, explaining, seeking approval. A few will understand that power is not given, it is constructed. If you felt the shift while listening, don't ignore it. Comment untouchable below if you're done operating like the old version of yourself. Like this video so this message reaches men who need discipline more than comfort. Share it with someone who is still blaming the world. And subscribe if you are serious about learning Machiavellian strategy without illusions. No noise, no excuses, only power.